Some of these cost nothing while others run a few bucks, and one of them could save you $8,000. At least 3 are things you've probably been doing wrong your entire driving life because someone wanted to make money off you. So let's get into it. Number 1 is ECU tuning. And this stands as the single most cost-effective performance modification you can do to a modern car, especially if you have a turbocharged engine. Independent dyno testing tells the real story here. A Stage 1 tune on a Volkswagen or Audi 2.0T engine delivers 68 horsepower and 111 pound-feet of torque, while a Subaru WRX picks up 33 horsepower and a BMW 550i gains 95 horsepower from software alone. $600 to $800 for a quality tune breaks down to $10 to $20 per horsepower, and nothing else in the aftermarket comes close. Cold air intakes run $30 to $50 per horsepower. Exhaust systems cost $40 to $100 per horsepower, and that's why tuning remains the best bang for your buck. Here's the thing, dealers hate about it though. Subaru technicians receive specific training to detect ECU flash counters, and Audi runs something called a TD1 flag that permanently marks tuned vehicles in their system. Flashing back to stock doesn't reset that counter either, so they'll know. One exception exists though, and that's Danan, who offers a factory-matching 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty on their BMW tunes, making them the only aftermarket tuner with that kind of protection. Number 2 is about stopping the 3,000-mile oil change myth, because this recommendation comes from the 1960s and 70s, and it persists today for one reason. Car and Driver put it best when they wrote that service providers tend to recommend shorter change intervals because that can never hurt your engine, but it also means they'll see you and your credit card more often. What manufacturers actually specify for 2020 to 2025 models paints a different picture. Toyota calls for 10,000 miles with synthetic under normal conditions. Honda says 7,500 miles with their maintenance minder system, and both BMW and Mercedes specify 10,000 miles. Blackstone Labs does oil analysis for a living, and when a Toyota Sienna owner sent in a sample at 9,000 miles, their recommendation was to extend to 11,000 because the oil still had plenty of life left. Running the math over 10 years at 12,000 miles per year shows what's really happening here. Conventional oil at 5,000-mile intervals costs $960, while synthetic at 10,000-mile intervals costs $840. Following the actual manufacturer's schedule with synthetic oil ends up cheaper and wastes less, which means the only people benefiting from the 3,000-mile myth are the people changing your oil. Number 3 might be the most important thing in this entire video, and that's exposing the lifetime transmission fluid lie. ZF manufactures the transmissions in BMWs, Audis, Chryslers, Jaguars, and Land Rovers, and ZF officially recommends fluid changes at 50 to 60,000 miles, even releasing a video to debunk the lifetime fluid myth themselves. What lifetime actually means, according to FCP Euro's direct communication with ZF engineers, is that transmissions get tested to 100,000 miles with an acceptable rate of failure on the original fill. 100,000 miles is BMW's definition of lifetime, which conveniently falls past the extended warranty period. A drain and fill service runs $150 to $200, while a transmission replacement when neglected fluid causes failure costs $3,000 to $10,000. 3 or 4 fluid services over your car's life prevents that replacement entirely, and that adds up to potentially $7,000 in savings from one piece of knowledge. Number 4 is about premium fuel, and if your car doesn't require it, every dollar you spend on it is wasted. AAA's testing found that for vehicles designed for regular fuel, premium gasoline produced no measurable improvement in horsepower, fuel economy, or emissions. $2.1 billion is what Americans unnecessarily spent using premium in vehicles that don't require it. Consumer Reports tested a 2015 Acura TLX and 2016 Nissan Maxima, both premium recommended vehicles, and found identical fuel economy and acceleration times on regular versus premium. Modern engines run knock sensors that detect detonation and adjust timing automatically, which means your car compensates for fuel grade in real time. Exceptions do exist, though, so if your manual says required and not just recommended, use premium. Towing heavy loads or driving a high-compression turbocharged engine under load also benefits from premium. And Car and Driver found the Ford F-150 EcoBoost showed a 20 horsepower difference between 87 and 93 octane. Normal driving in a premium recommended vehicle, though, means you should save that 23% price premium. Number 5 is about what actually matters when it comes to your fuel, and that's where you buy it. AAA testing revealed that non-top-tier gasolines cause 19 times more engine deposits than top-tier brands after just 4,000 miles, while top-tier fuel reduced intake valve deposits by 45 to 72% over 5,000 miles. 3 cents per gallon is the average price difference, which works out to $15 to $20 per year for 19 times fewer deposits building up in your engine. Number 6 is your tire pressure, and it's probably wrong right now. The Department of Energy and Oak Ridge National Laboratory confirmed that every single PSI drop below recommended pressure reduces fuel economy by 0.2 to 0.3%, while running at 50% of recommended pressure causes 5 to 10% worse fuel economy. 3.56 million gallons of gasoline get wasted daily due to improperly inflated tires, according to EPA estimates, and proper inflation can improve your gas mileage by up to 3% for free. Check monthly with an actual gauge because your tire pressure monitoring system only warns you when you're already 25% below where you should be. And by that point, you've been burning extra fuel for weeks. Number 7 is dead simple, and that's taking off your roof rack when you're not using it. Car and Driver tested empty crossbars on a Kia Carnival and measured a 12% fuel economy penalty, which translated to 3 miles per gallon at 75 miles per hour. Berkeley Lab estimated that roof racks consumed 0.8% of all U.S. light-duty vehicle fuel in 2015, adding up to approximately 100 million gallons. Removing crossbars when they're not in use costs absolutely nothing and gives you immediate efficiency gains. Number 8 can save you a few $100s, and that's cleaning your mass airflow sensor before replacing it. Cleaning a MAF sensor with dedicated MAF cleaner costing $8 to $12 resolves 40 to 50% of MAF-related check engine lights, and Ford refurbishment data shows 90% of MAF sensor cores can be brought back within spec just by cleaning them. Average replacement runs around $300, which means an $8 can of cleaner with nearly a 50% chance of fixing the problem represents $292 in potential savings. The technique matters here, though. Use only dedicated MAF cleaner because brake cleaner and carb cleaner will damage it. Spray 10 to 15 bursts on the hot wire elements, never touch the filament with your fingers, and let it air dry completely before reinstalling. Number 9 is buying an OBD2 scanner, which pays for itself after a single use. Dealer diagnostic fees run $100 to $180 per visit. And here's what most people don't realize. 20 to 30% of check engine lights come from loose or faulty gas caps, and 40% of a specific evaporative emission code get resolved by just tightening or replacing the gas cap. That's a $10 to $25 fix versus a $300 to $600 dealer visit, where they run the same scan you could run yourself. The Blue Driver scanner at around $100 gives you ABS and airbag system access, plus a repair database that normally costs $179 per month, making it the best value in the category by far. Number 10 covers cold air intakes, but we need to be honest about what they actually deliver. Independent dyno testing shows gains of 5 to 18 horsepower on V8 trucks and performance vehicles. LSX magazine documented a K and N Typhoon gaining about 18 horsepower on a 5th-gen Camaro, and AFE Power recorded 18-plus horsepower on a 2015 Silverado. What manufacturers don't advertise is that a Ford Truck's independent dyno test showed a 1 pound-foot loss on a 1995 F-150, which proves results vary dramatically by application. The science behind it holds up because cooler air is denser, and every 10-degree drop in intake temperature yields about 1% more power. Most gains require an ECU tune to maximize, though, and without recalibration, you should expect 5 to 15 horsepower instead of the 20-plus that marketing materials claim. Number 11 is a warning about K and N drop-in filters, because the trade-off isn't worth it for most people. Independent ISO 5011 testing, using a $285,000 testing machine, found that OEM paper filters passed 0.4 grams of dirt, while K and N filters passed 7 grams, which is 17.5 times more contamination reaching your engine. K and N does offer about 30% better airflow when clean, but for most drivers, the filtration penalty outweighs the minimal 0 to 3 horsepower gain from the filter alone. Number 12 covers fuel additives, and the key is using products with PEA because that's the only type that works. PEA, which stands for polyethyramine, is the only additive type that remains stable at combustion temperatures, and it's recommended by most manufacturers. Products like Chevron Techron, BG44K, and Redline S. I1 contain it, and using one every 3,000 to 7,000 miles at $6 to $10 per bottle keeps your injectors clean. Seafoam and Lucas are different products entirely because they're petroleum-based lubricants rather than deep cleaners. That white smoke from Seafoam is largely the product itself burning off. And while they have legitimate uses, they don't clean carbon deposits like PEA products do. Number 13 is a heads up for anyone with a direct injection engine, because tank additives can't save your intake valves no matter what you pour in there. GDI engines inject fuel directly into the combustion chamber and bypass intake valves entirely, which allows carbon deposits to build up to a 1/4 inch thick, with nothing to wash them away. Nothing you pour in your gas tank can reach those valves, and only Throttle body sprays or professional walnut blasting running $300 to $1,500 can address this. It's a design flaw that dealers don't warn you about until you're already paying for the fix. Number 14 covers throttle response controllers, and you need to know what you're actually buying before you spend the money. Products like Pedal Commander and Sprint Booster add 0 horsepower, and no independent dyno test has ever shown power gains from them. Sprint Booster's own vendor admits it won't improve your 0 to 60 time, which tells you everything you need to know about the performance claims. What they actually do is eliminate the dead zone at the top of pedal travel and make throttle response feel sharper. A CBT News test showed about 0.8 seconds improvement in perceived acceleration feel, but that's perceived and not actual acceleration. If your truck or SUV suffers from annoying throttle lag, these can improve the driving experience, but don't expect real performance gains. Number 15 is weight reduction, and the interesting part is that rotational weight matters 3 times more than regular weight. Every 100 pounds removed improves quarter mile times by about 1/10 of a second, and fuel economy by 1 to 2%. But here's where it gets interesting. Grassroots Motorsports. Track testing found that 48 pounds of wheel weight difference resulted in 0 to 60 times of 8.61 seconds, with light wheels versus 9.04 seconds with heavy ones. Adding 42 pounds of static ballast to match the weight only dropped times to 8.75 seconds, which proves rotational mass at the wheel has approximately 3 times the acceleration impact of static weight. Lighter wheels matter more than removing your spare tire. Number 16 is using a battery maintainer, and the lifespan extension is dramatic. Battery tender users report 8 to 11 plus years from their original batteries versus the typical 3 to 5 year average lifespan, and one Dodge Challenger owner documented 11 consecutive years on the factory battery using a Deltran battery tender. $50 to $100 for a maintainer can double your battery life and save you $100 to $200 on avoided replacements over time. Number 17 wraps up with spark plugs, and the truth is you shouldn't upgrade them for performance because you upgrade them for longevity. Testing showed differences of only 2 to 4 horsepower between plug types on stock engines, which falls within dyno margin of error, and means there's essentially no performance difference. The real benefit of iridium plugs is lasting 100,000 miles versus 30,000 for copper, which means fewer replacements and less hassle over your ownership period. Use manufacturer-specified plugs because NGK and Denso are both OEM quality, and don't adjust pre-gapped iridium plugs, since doing so damages the precious metal tips. That covers all 17 tricks that actually work, backed by independent testing and real data rather than marketing claims. The best ones cost nothing at all, including proper tire pressure, removing your roof rack, using top-tier fuel, and following actual manufacturer oil change intervals instead of the 3,000-mile myth that someone invented to see you more often. The biggest money saver is changing your transmission fluid every 50 to 60,000 miles, no matter what lifetime fill marketing tells you, because that single piece of knowledge could save you $8,000. And if you want real performance gains, ECU tuning on a turbocharged engine delivers $10 to $20 per horsepower, and nothing else in the aftermarket comes close to that value. If this helped you out, you know what to do, and I'll see you in the next one.